On this episode of Pennies Going In Raw, we discuss Level 2, and of course, got a little SPAQ for SPAQtober. We've got Hugh's DD of the Week, and I feel like it's time for some Q&A. Let's roll.
Hey, yo, check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav in the building for the Atlas crew.
Atlas Trading, what the fuck is up?
There are traders, there are prodigies, and then there's legends.
We're on 4%, baby.
No way.
4 fucking percent.
Buy the fucking dip.
Hey, who told me about IDEX?
Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, someone just made, like, a lot more money than me on my trade.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Did you check the portfolio?
Pennies. The margin for error is so small.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
And they out there making money right now off of penny stocks.
Them two guys is putting in work to make y'all rich.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Time to think big.
Pennies Going In Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity at Dips.
And Hugh Honey. Produced by Vinny Strokes, baby.
Welcome back to Pennies Going In Raw, presented by the Blazing Chronicle. Today is Sunday, October the 11th, and it's raining gains in the street. And the only thing that can stop us is an untimely Trump tweet. I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but it's been going pretty well, unless Trump decides to tweet, he has a disease or no stimulus checks. But other than that, it's going pretty well, huh?
Yeah, I haven't been this excited, like I said, since really, I would even go back to like April, because now I feel like we have good solid swings where we're not settling. They fit the matrix. They're coming up high on the matrix. We have money on the street. Stuff's running. I feel like the market's back.
Oh, y'all heard it here first. Yeah, man, we even had some swings of our own that went. I know we have our swings of the week. You had Vissel and TBLT. TBLT's had great up and down action. It is every day it seems like it goes up 8%, drops down about 6%. The only problem I'm having is loading the dip too soon. But I mean, like, it's stair stepping like crazy.
Yeah, it went like 45%. Went 45%. It's perfect.
Well, Vissel, I think, went 40% in a day as well.
Yeah. They ran together, right? The same day. What was it? Wednesday?
Yeah, and Vissel dropped all the way back down to around 136 right after. I felt like it was another good spot to really just load some more. I mean, as we said last week, it's such a tradable stock. We saw it go from 130 to 140 on Tuesday, I believe. And then on Wednesday, it went up from 140 to 180. So, and then it closed the day at like 142. It's one of those really easy to trades. That's why we say make sure you have a cash account if you're under 25K for ones like that.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, like I said, our swings went really well.
Yeah, I mean, I had Sam and Lizzie, man. Come on now. Salmon, yeah. like I said, it was a good ad from around under 91, and it went all the way to, I think, like 120. And it dropped back down. I've been trying to get some more under $1 because it does have some nice range. I didn't say Lizzie last week, but I think it still has a good bit to run. If you look at that chart, man, it is bottomed out, LIZI, and it's had some good moves as well. But yeah, like you were saying, more money on the street, huh?
Yeah, significantly more money. Before I was way majority cash. I didn't feel like we were getting a few swings, but nothing that really came up high on the matrix. Now I feel like we have 3 or 4 really solid swings, where we have really good catalysts, and I would say, I would say that we have a chance to double on all of them. And, I think 1 or 2 could be like a multi-bagger.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting for one of those, I feel like, since July.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we really went on like a little bit of a cold spell there for the multi-baggers.
Yeah, I mean, and we have, like, even with all the stuff going around, like the vice presidential debate, it was pretty dull compared to the presidential debate, if I'm being honest. But I mean, it is crazy when you see stuff like that. You'd see people expecting fly to run because there was a fly on Mike Pence's head, and sure enough, it actually did go 10% in pre-market. So things like that, nothing makes sense. Just be aware of that. But bottom line, to answer last week's unanswered question, are pennies back?
I really feel confident. Last week we said that we need to see some confirmation. I really feel confident that we gained that confirmation, and I think that we can finally say pennies are back.
Okay, yeah, but we still have to be wary with the election and everything coming up for sure. Because pennies may be back right now, but 2 weeks from now, pennies may not be back.
Yeah, we're definitely still going to be smart.
So, the market giveth and the market taketh away.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the pennies being back, like you said, you see a lot of PJ's calls like CEI and H really just, he has those, he's been on a roll of like 100% calls. And even like we said with some of our swings going 20 to 40% and the personality of the stocks coming back, we're really starting to see a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're starting to see sectors run together. So you're not seeing just like one run 100% and then the next one run 5%. You're seeing real big moves in real sectors.
Yeah, a lot of sympathy plays as well. Not as many right now, but I think some are going to start coming back. I think once stocks start running and people start seeing what runs together, I think that'll make the sectors kind of go more together, I think. Although that seems obvious, but I think that's one of those things that needs to kind of get going.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we saw it last week with energy. We saw energy was running. Solar ran last week. Oils towards the end of Friday, maybe continue into next week. So, we are starting to see some sectors run together, which is really cool. And I think that, as you were saying, as the market, starts to really heat up, I feel like last week was a good start to a hot market.
Yeah, revving the engine.
Yeah, exactly. Revving the engine, showing us what she's got.
We're pre-gaming going to the bar. Haven't started the analogies, but we might soon.
We might. But yeah, so I really felt like we're still going to be smart. I really think I loved what I saw this week. A lot of people were making money. A lot of stuff was moving. So I'm excited. I literally did not sleep last night. I'm so excited.
Yeah, man. And, as this podcast in October, it is SPAQtober. So although Henrik doesn't want to come on our podcast, he does want to go on Jim Cramer. But, although we might be salty, we do have money invested in it. So we will think about it from that perspective as well. He's going on a couple days after the Apple event, which has people speculating damn near as much as UAVS and Amazon. What do you kind of think about that? The only thing I'm worried about is people getting let down. That UAVS run and timing was perfect, and it ended with that Amazon seminar, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and here's the other thing is that Henrik's completely feeding all of our egos, which is a really fun thing. I mean, that is really fun. Unless he goes
until it doesn't happen.
Yeah, until he goes on Cramer, and Cramer, because Cramer, he likes to bring up nonsense and shit. So if Cramer brings up something like maybe his past investments, and yeah,
they're all great.
Yeah, exactly. And his past investors' money, what it's done. So, I think that might.
Y'all don't listen to Hugh. He's a hater.
Yeah. So if he catches Henrik flat-footed,
I think Henrik has the personality. He seems good in interviews. From the ones I've watched for preparing for an interview with him that fell through.
Yeah, but have you seen a bigger real fight than Cramer and FinTwit SPAC? Like, can you remember a fight? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Kramer's going to want to make a point.
Yeah, he's gonna say some shit like, the people on Twitter and Robinhood, they love you, and they love options and SPACs.
Yeah,
and he's gonna say some shit like that. But I think Henrik's gonna hold his ground. He's gonna be like, well, I don't really pay attention to the social media all that much. I'm busy cleaning up the ocean. Like Zach said, he's busy doing big boy stuff like designing cars and cleaning up the ocean.
Listen,
so
Henrik, if you're listening, if you get caught flat-footed, I'll never forgive you. In fact,
he's gonna share. He's gonna sell all 500,000.
Not only that, we're gonna short SPAC if you get caught flat-footed. I swear to God, Henrik. I swear to God, you better be doing as much DD on Cramer as his producers are doing on you. Because I swear to God, if you get caught flat-footed, I'm I'm gonna be pissed. You better.
Dude, no one's gonna listen to this podcast if we're SPAQators, dude. Anyone that's a SPAQator gets eaten alive. Okay?
I'm not a SPAQator.
It's not even one of those things. It's not even one of those things you want to be like, I was right about, because people are still gonna be like, fuck you.
No, I'm not a SPAQator. I'm a Henrik dumb pissed me off. He disrespected me. I'm dumb pissed off.
Yeah, that is true. You fool me once, shame on
Me.
Yeah. Okay, so right. Exactly. Shame on Henrik.
Yep.
Okay, so, as we said, we would try and get Incredible Bob on, and you guys all did so well with your tweeting at him, but he didn't even acknowledge a single tweet or bring it up. So, yeah, sorry for that letdown, but me and Hugh are still going to do level MF2. Okay, so, a lot of people were wondering after Bob's little seminar about level 2, he said it was one of his favorite indicators. I know you're more of a volume guy, but I think we need to dive into that. I think first things first, maybe like a what is level 2 for the folks.
Yeah, so this is one of those corny things where like it works for me, but that doesn't mean that it works for someone else. When I'm playing a video game, the first level is level 1. The second level
naturally
is level 2. So when I think about that, I think of it as being like a more in-depth, a deeper level, because it's level 2. So, the way that level 2 really works is that, and this is completely how I think of it, you can totally have a different opinion. That's totally fine. But I think that that's what makes all indicators really great, because what I see could be different from what Dan sees, but we can interpret it for really whatever we want. It's just, I'm always going to be right.
Okay, so anyways, like I was asking him what level 2 is, and then he goes off on this video game bullshit. Level 2 is just the bids and asks, for anyone wondering.
But it's not level 1.
You can see how right, it also isn't level 1, but yes, level 2 is the amount of bids and the amount of asks, how many shares they're buying or wanting to buy. What
Dude,
price.
I was warming them
now,
up. You really just gave it all away.
Okay. I'm sorry it was so anticlimactic. I'm sure he's about to get to the final boss of this video.
Yeah, I was really gonna drop the bomb, but now you stole my You know what? It's fine. But so
okay, sorry.
But so what I really look at level 2, I think it's really important because I'm not looking at level 2 to really get into a stock. What I'm looking at level 2 is for when I want to choose an entry. So if I pick a clear support and resistance, but maybe I want to add at the support. But then, level 2, like Dan was saying, shows the bid and ask. So whatever price someone's willing to sell it for, and about how many shares they're selling. And then same on the ask side, how many someone's willing to sell and at what price. So the way that I look at it is that if I see a lot of support at 86, I'm probably thinking that everyone else has that same support line. So what really makes level 2 great is that when you're looking at level 2, if you identify that there's a clear support at 86, well, when it comes close to that, if you see like a 200,000 bid, that's called bid support. So what are the chances that it's going to eat through that, say, $2 million or that $200,000 bid? So instead, what you can do is that you can really help your entry out, because that'll just help support. And so if it eats through it, fine, then you add. But if not, you can undercut that bid, and that acts like support. So you can basically see where bid support's going to be, and then undercut it by a few cents, and basically get at the low. So even though you identified your support at, let's say 84 cents, but if you see that bid at 84.5, then fine, add it 84.55. And then you have that bid support, and now there's bid stacked, which is a great thing to see, and you're going to get filled. And where, you might not get filled if you put it at, that 84 mark, because again, that's a pretty large bid.
Yeah, whenever I do it, instead of like undercutting or over someone by 0.0001, I do it by 0.0005, just because it's like such a it doesn't matter, like it's such a small amount of money, but at the same time it's like so many people are already going to do the 0.0001, This is just 500 IQ right here.
Yeah, exactly. I love to watch level 2 because I like to see kind of what's going on. And then On the flip side, so that's on the support side. On the resistance side, say the stock's running and it's close to your identified resistance, say 125, and you see a massive wall sitting at that resistance. That could be one of two things. Obviously a short, or someone just trying to get out, or, you know, a short trying to, you know, build that resistance.
But at the same time, I mean, if you're looking at level 2, what if there's like stock with just a massive ask, not even at the resistance, just put up in a random spot, even if it's, you know, just kind of running every day in a steady little stream? But what do you kind of think about that? Or is that just a new resistance potentially being formed?
Well, no, but that's what I was going to say, was that if it, on the flip side, on the resistance side, is that if it's running and all of a sudden you're looking at the chart and you kind of see it like just sitting there, and if you look at level 2 and you see a huge ask, you can kind of see what's going on. So if you see like that huge wall getting taken down, then you know that momentum is strong.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the best feelings in the world. When you see like a 200...
Watching it take down, and it's going down by like 10,000, 50,000, 2,000, 2,000, 4,000.
What do you call it? Even ADMP on Friday, there was that $1 ask or whatever. What do you call it? I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, let's do it. Took another 30K shares. We saw another 103, took another 20K, you know, like we're all team players here. So that's one of the best things to,
all on the same team.
that's one of the best things to see is when you see a wall.
Yeah. You're just seeing an ass just going down.
And also that another thing to point out is that, you know, as you guys build your accounts, because we all are banking, as you guys build your accounts, you know, it's going to get more difficult to, like, it's not like you can just market buy your position if that's what you guys were doing. You know, you can't market buy $10,000 of, you know, a 5 million float company. I mean, you'll just send the thing up like 3%. So
nice.
Yeah, but the great thing is that when you see a wall, you can literally just take the wall. It's just exchanging shares. So one of the most difficult things I know for me is when I'm trying to add to a position. You know, I can't put in a huge bid because then a bunch of people undercut me. But then I can't really buy the ask because the same thing. People started slapping.
Yeah, I remember back like 6 months ago, I was like, oh, nice, we're getting some support on some random stock. But it was, I was like, yeah, like 100K bid. And then he was like, oh, that one's mine. I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really more difficult to start adding size. So that's why like ADMP and TBLT, like I accumulate all of those on a dip. I mean, like I'll just keep accumulating those. And that's where charting also comes in handy. Because if you know that ADMP has $1 support, well, if you know charting, then you know that when it comes down to $1, you know, you can double up there, you know, put a bid there. You know, maybe you get lucky. So level 2 is really handy for, like we said, is that it's not so much confirming your analysis. It's more for when you're trying.
It can help you like predict the trend using
exactly.
level 2.
And then if you see a super thin, like you see like almost no ask there, that's when things gap. No one's willing to sell it. So the thing gaps. Level 2, if you guys don't ever use it, just watch it. You know, you don't have to like be like a surgeon, but it's just something really awesome to watch, because if I see a wall there, like for instance, ADMP, okay, if I'm trying to add X amount of shares and I see a wall flash, well, instead of waiting for 2 cents lower, where I might not get filled, well, if I can just take that wall out and just get my shares, you know, I'll find 2 cents higher. What's that to my average? You know, like what?
But for someone who might not have that much capital, what would you say if they were also in that situation? Maybe try and get it in between. If maybe you're expecting it to drop 2 cents, maybe just settle for 1 cent.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking for a catalyst that I'm assuming is going to run it up at least like 50%, sometimes you have to settle for slightly higher prices.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about commission-free trading means that, you know, if you want to add 10,000 shares, but you know, you really want to add it at support, but you want to make sure that you have some skin in the game. Well, the beautiful thing about commission-free trading,
starter positions, baby.
Yeah, starter positions. Hell, you can put like I'll be completely honest with you guys. My swings, they look like green level bars because I have orders and bids all the way down. Like all the way down the chart. And so that's the great thing.
And then just bigger ones that support.
Yeah, just bigger ones that support, because that's where I ideally want to get filled. But I'm not going to miss the opportunity. If it dips and creates a new support, I don't want to miss the opportunity. So again, we don't have to chase. We have commission-free trading. Just put in a bunch of orders. If you want to add 1,000 shares, but you're not sure where to add them, identify support, identify resistance, and then on that support, take like maybe 30% of it, add it there, and then the rest just put it a little bit higher, and
The best is using Weeble and setting some for overnight, and then you wake up and you filled some at some extraordinarily low bid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think that's really that's where level 2 comes in handy. Is that there's so many times that I remember before I used to use level 2, and I would be like, damn, like, I can't believe my bid didn't get filled. I was, half a cent off. And then, I would go back and look at the time in sales, and I would see that someone had like $1 million bid right above mine, or, someone filled like $1 million shares right above mine. So level 2 can really help you pick your entries. Or again, when a stock's running and we identify resistance, we can see, okay, does it reject hard? Okay, does it take down the wall? Like, what's it doing? And then again, we talk, for a lot of the newer guys, you guys hear about bid and ask flashing. What that means is that somebody's trying to sway the price one way or the other. If they flash a huge ask on the resistance, that is probably a short trying to get some people to panic sell, because again, we know that if there's an upcoming resistance along with this huge ask, people are going to think that it's going to bounce right off. But what they do is that they're not real. You'll see them put like maybe 3% out, so it shows up on level 2, but then as it gets closer, they won't.
Like, I don't want
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah, the level 2 can sometimes be deceiving with market buys and FOMO, and also just sneaky people with big money.
Yeah, and so actually, it's really funny. If I see someone, and I know some of the other guys do this too. If I see someone flashing an ask, we'll keep our order book open, and then when they flash it,
smack it.
Yeah, we just take that shiz, and then it's like, then they're like, damn. And then also that's obviously like momentum. You know what I mean? So
yep.
If you're listening to this and you're short, I promise you, if you put a wall there, we'll take it. We'll take it. You're not scaring anybody. And then on the same token, you have bid flashing. And bid flashing is, again, we talk about bid support. And so bid flashing.
That's what Hugh's doing.
No, well, yeah, I mean, I am bid support, but I'm actually trying to get filled. Watch, I won't be able to get filled. Now that we're going to talk about our swings, and I won't get filled because I'll say support and resistance. There will be like a bunch of bids that like undercut me by like 0.05 cents. But so yeah, I really love level 2 because it can really show you great things. And the same thing, like we were just talking about, bid flashing is the same thing as ask flashing, but instead of trying to make the price go down, they're trying to create bid support. Personally, I don't really think, unless it's like, like occasionally, rarely, you'll see like a huge ask flash, like 800,000 or like 500,000. That usually does scare people. But in general, I don't really think bid flashing or ask flashing has a huge sway on the stock. If 100K or 200K.
Yeah. Let's just say if you flash that ask, Hugh's gonna smack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I want you to. I literally want you to, because if not, I won't be able to get shares. Or I'll get like 15 shares.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Finding out you got a partial fill, you check it and it's 11.
Yeah.
11 shares of a 32 cent
Yeah,
stock.
I'll be getting water or something.
I got some skin in the game.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be getting water, and I'll hear my computer beep, like, that I got filled. And I'll be like, hell yeah, and I'll run back, and it'll be like 11 of, X amount. I'll be like, wow, this is, thank you. Like, that was useless. That was useless. But yeah, so that's level 2. So we talked about bid flash, and we talked about, and one thing that we definitely have to talk about with level 2 is, because they kind of go hand in hand, is time of sales. So when you see time of sales, is that this is really important for a few things, is that you can see when big blocks are coming in. So if the stock's really moving, like tons of volume is trading, then the time and sales will show you these, when there's huge blocks. And obviously volume precedents price action. So volume comes before price. So if you see huge blocks trading, that's a great indicator that that something's happening, that something's going to move. And that also sets off scanners. So I think that's really time of sales is really important. I always have time of sales up, even though I'm not looking at 15 different swings time of sales all at once. If I'm looking at something coming close to resistance or coming close to breakout zone, and I see huge blocks popping, I'm like, okay, it's time to dance, girl. Okay. So I think that time and sales really goes hand in hand with level 2.
Okay, so we do have a few questions now that we've gone over using level 2 to see support and resistance and some deceiving, etc., etc. Is a free level 2 service like Arca enough, or does one need a paid service?
No, your broker should give it to you unless they don't give you market data. Like, if you work for like a competing bank or something, they won't give you market data. But, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, they all give level 2.
Why are some of the level 2s a little different than the others? You look at like TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, like some you can't see it, some you will.
Oh, like when people try and hide ass and stuff?
I don't know. I feel like just if you look at different level 2s on different brokers, sometimes it won't show it. But I think that may just be a brokerage issue. Which one do you think is the best?
So I like TD Ameritrade. Okay, that's actually a really good question. So if you guys don't use TD Ameritrade, defaults to all the markets. So your all your clearing. So your Arca, your Baca. If you guys look on your level 2, it'll be on like the left side, and it'll say where it's clearing through: ARCA, BACA, stuff like that. If you're on Webull and you have level 2 pulled up, they might only show the most popular clearing, so AC or BACA only. So you can totally get that switch. It's not a big deal. It's just market data. But that's probably the reason. Default TD Ameritrade is great. It's great. It used to be better, but it's updated by the second. Sometimes it's even faster than the chart. It automatically shows you all the different clearings.
Okay, next one is, I've heard before about a hidden buyer/seller on level 2, and was just wondering what that is and how to spot that.
Yeah, so sometimes like I'll hide my bids so that Dan can't come in and swipe for 0.5% because he knows my bid support. Like if I text him like, yo, I'm trying to take X amount at support at 84, and then I see like 2 seconds later like a bid pop up for like 84.01.
And it's like 400 shares.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll hide that, and really what that just means is that like you might hide it by if it's pre-market, what you'll do is that you'll, instead of putting good to cancel, you'll just keep it as day, like day in force. And then when it gets close to there, then that's when you put in the good to cancel, and then that's when it would show up. Ask vice versa. We can go into dark pools, stuff like that, but it's really nothing too crazy. There's this something called TWAP, it's called, and that's time. And so basically what that means is that like some brokers have, where if you're trying to get out of your position or you're trying to add to your position, instead of buying, 100,000 shares all at once, what they'll do is that every like 25 minutes or every 30 minutes, wherever the price is, they'll just buy you 1,000 shares. And then, next 30 minutes, they'll buy another 1,000 shares, so that you don't have to sit there and buy 1,000, buy 1,000, buy 1,000. But then also you're not going to, put up a huge $100,000 bid or slap the ask for 100,000. This is more like a facade that like people make it bigger than it is. Now there are the rare cases. Where there's a huge seller and he's trying to hide himself. And that just like, he almost always flashes himself because he kind of has to if he's too big. But you can just tell kind of by the way that the chart runs and stuff. If you just see huge selling pressure, that, and you don't know where it's coming from, sometimes that's a huge hidden seller, stuff like that.
All right, now that was level 2. Now for level 3, we're gonna have our DD of the week. Our swings of the week are the same, and we're just adding one that we're gonna do DD on. We have questions, and we're also gonna do a new segment with Hugh called "Are These Tickers?" And so the DD of the week is on ADMP, that is alligator, dolphin, maniacal, penguin. And Hugh, hey, let's get it.
Let's get it, baby. So, ADMP, okay, only 3 tickers have gotten a 9 on the matrix, and ADMP was the next one. I love this one. There's some really great traders on it, and I really like this one. I think that this one can be a really multi-bagger. So first off, and I'm going to send out the chart tonight. I'm going to send out the chart tonight, but I love this chart on the 2-year weekly. On the 2-year weekly, what I see is I really see, now that we broke above that 98, that dollar zone, you know, I see support around the 96 range, and that is where I have my bids. I have my bids at 96, and I have one at 101, and I have one at 98, and then I have a smaller one at 103 in case something happens where I can't really get, where there's no dip. So what I see from this is that our next resistance point is 125, and right now that's a double top, which is beautiful, because if we break that when we break that double top, we're clear skies high until like the $2 mark, which is just beautiful. You know, so that's from like a chart perspective. We saw huge volume coming in this entire week. You know, it's going for that double top on the weekly. The weekly chart is incredibly bullish. You know, I really, really love this. 125, and then the next resistance is 150, and then there's no resistance. It's just gone until 2. It's out in like space. I think that this company is super undervalued. So they're the only company that has this drug with a market cap underneath underneath like 200 million. In comparison, they're super cheap. They did a raise on September 18th, so we know that they're cash heavy. On top of that, the management canceled the reverse split. So even though we're currently above $1, we're kind of teetering with that point. Management knows that something good is coming. They know it. They know it. They canceled the reverse split. That's an awesome sign always. On top of that, they have the PDUFA on November 15th, or by November 15th, which is an awesome, if you guys read into the drug, there's some really good bio traders on it. They are great.
If you don't know what a PDUFA was, I think we explained in our very first DD of the Week episode. We'll probably put that in the description.
Yeah, we did. And so they have the PDUFA, which is an awesome catalyst and the best catalyst, in my opinion. You know, I mean,
And you always play the run-up to the PDUFA.
Yeah. So we always play the run-up. I might hold this one through the PDUFA, kind of like TRVN. But again, we'll reevaluate because we still have some time. We still have about 5 weeks. And then, in addition, something that's really cool is that this is also, and we didn't really talk about this on Twitter because I wanted to save it for today, is that their drug let me back up a second. I'm all excited. They also do $17 million a year in sales. And that drug's been running for 3 years. So they're not like one of these bullshit penny stock biopharmas that just does raises after raises after raises, and they have like one drug, and that's like it. They have 17 million in revenue. It's been on the market for 3 years. They have a great pipeline. They have a huge PDUFA. They're undervalued. They canceled the reverse split. They just did a cash raise. And then, like I said, is that they also have, and this is awesome, is that their drug is also being tested to help with COVID, and they're waiting.
Wow, now that's awesome.
Yeah, and so we talked about them waiting for government funding. Their government funding could be like a substantial amount comparative to their market cap. So their market cap's sitting at like 120 million. So if they got 40 million from the government, I mean, that's 30% of the market cap. So now you have a stock that's like worth like 140, from where its levels are at now, which is really cool.
We know you love cash evaluations.
Yeah, I do. And then on top of it, it's COVID, I mean, I was trying to find something wrong with this stock. We're always being conscious, but one thing that how I'm playing this stock and how I'm also playing TBLT is that as the stock, because we're 6 weeks out from the PDUFA and government funding should be here literally any freaking day, which is awesome. The timing is perfect on all of this. Is that as this chart forms, like a stair step, that's when I'll be adding on dips. Like I'm accumulating a large position in this because this is a liquid stock. So, and how I'm going to do this, and then if you want to follow this as well, this is how really good traders, they take their first chunk, okay, and then if it dips below, they take another chunk. And then, again, we identify the support and resistance. So again, when it goes for that 125, okay, don't buy that 125 because you see the clear resistance. I'll tweet out my graph later, but you'll see it. It's clear as day. So don't buy it at that 125. If it doesn't break through that 125 on the first candle, let it come down, and find support, find new support, add there, and then when it goes through that resistance, again, same thing. Let it go through the 125, say it goes to 132. Well, what does resistance always become? Support. So now you have huge support right there. So what do? If it goes up higher, then you add on that support and you just keep accumulating shares. And so now your average isn't getting, that's why I was adding at 103 after hours. I was adding like 30,000 shares with, shout out to Donkey, Biopharma Donkey. We were having a good time. Inside Atlas chat, adding 30,000 shares on the ask at 103 because we have our chunk position and then we just average up a little bit. So it doesn't destroy our average, but we can keep accumulating shares as it gets closer and closer to the date. So that's how I'm going to be playing it. I love this stock. I love the chart. I love the catalyst. It has multiple catalysts. They have cash. They're a real company with real revenues. I think it's awesome. And then a really cool quote that a really good biopharma trader found is from August 17th. From on their conference call, they said the current FDA commissioner Han is familiar with Temple and has had firsthand experience. That's huge. Okay. And then on top of that, they said, we are in discussions with a large oncology where, like a large oncology, like Merck, like a big oncology where they would fund topical Temple into phase 2 and phase 3.
I'll be honest, the first time you said it, I thought you said a really collegey, like it was a super collegey area. Like there are a lot of like 18 to 22 year olds.
No. And then they said phase 2 for dermatitis has been completed and they're in discussions with the FDA regarding a P3 design. So they have a huge pipeline. They already have revenue, so they won't need. They already have cash. They raised cash. They have revenue. Their market cap's super undervalued. They have the chart. They have no reverse split. So I really think that we have a huge multi-bagger on our hands. I'm not saying it's gonna go, tomorrow. I'm not gonna say it's gonna go, but this is somewhere where we can accumulate shares. We can accumulate shares and enjoy the ride. This is an enjoy the ride one.
Well, all of this sounds really great, and I think there's only one question I have of all this, and it's, what the fuck is a 10 if this is a 9?
There will never be a 10.
Oh, okay, so this is as good as it gets, boys.
Yeah, this is good. Like
Okay.
I said, TBLT, we had an 8.5. The only thing with TBLT is that I like the PDUFA catalyst a lot better because we also have a date. We have a date of November 15th.
The only thing that could make this a 10 is if Stan was holding up the price like he was UAVS.
Yeah, every
6 months.
every 1% drop. Oh, buy this dip.
Buy this dip.
But yeah. So I think I won't be tweeting much about ADMP or TBLT because I want to.
Yeah, right.
I want to accumulate my shares. And I just want to enjoy the ride. So until I have another big swing, I'm probably just going to enjoy the ride. I am working on more DD for one of our other swings. I think I found some solid DD. But that'll be for another week.
More sleepless nights ahead. Okay, so now we have questions. We got a bunch. Some of them we may have answered on previous podcasts, and then we have a new little fun segment at the end. Okay, so first question, and this one is from me. How can you tell is there any way to tell which sector is going to be hot that week? Or is it just, you got to trade what's in front of you?
Yeah, so I trade we all trade with a thesis. So thesis for Tough Built was obviously people are home for COVID, do it yourself, shit like that. So that's our thesis. Something that is really awesome is when you have a stock that ignites the entire sector. So WWR was that one for energy. WTRH was it for
there's
March.
always that FRSX was it for like the thermals, or I guess Mark was it for the thermals, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Mark was it for the thermals. So that's a really good thing. And then also you have to look at the economic, so more macro. So if something happens where like oil, like Bill Ackman comes out and says that, he's buying 50 billion barrels, that would ignite oil.
Yeah, then all the oil stocks are going. Okay, cool. So next is going to be, what were some of the things you and Hugh were starting out that were light bulb moments for you guys as you learned to trade consistently? Things that once you understood helped propel your trading careers. For me, I think it was just kind of figuring out my strategy and what worked for me. And then just, I guess the finalizing of it was just it kept working, and then when it stopped working I knew how to slow myself down and trade a different way.
Yeah, for me it was when I started to identify charting patterns, and then when I really understood the game, that I understood that nobody's out. Like when I really watched China Hustle, and I realized that the only one that's going to make this for me is going to be me, and I started to identify chart patterns, and then I started to do really good with swings and found my niche. That's when I really loved it.
Okay, next is strategies for playing stocks that are low-key versus playing stocks that are hyped on Twitter. I think for this one, it's just on low-key ones, there's just less volume. I mean, not as much fun. Boo.
Yeah, I actually like playing low-key ones because less retail, I love you guys, but less retail investors means less price movement, drastic price movement.
It's easier for him to get his shares.
It's much easier. So if there's like a low float that I know has really good news coming, but I don't want to, I don't want all you slappy happies to, halt the stock. Then I'll just load it by myself and just let it sit there until news comes. And that's, I really feel like sometimes like the quiet swings work way better. I mean, I love you guys. Work way better.
But sometimes,
way better than what I
okay. Yeah, right when Hugh tweets it just ignites.
Yeah, but then that usually like flippers bring it lower, and then you have everyone selling, trying to get a lower average, and then it's like, okay, now I'm down 7%.
Messes up the price action, yeah. So Yo Dan got a question. Zach tweeted earlier, get good with keywords, filings, and floats. I understand filings and floats, but what does he mean by keywords? Keywords that make algos by a stock? If so, what are they? Thanks, man. I think by keywords, I think it's more in term with filing. I believe you replied to the tweet whenever someone asked. Yeah, I think it means like when you see the filing, it's going to run due to the keywords you see off of just looking at it. Yeah.
That's definitely big. So obviously COVID, huge increase, something coming, or like a contract announcement, anything with like a huge percentage gain. So like if you have like a contract that like will double your revenue, or you have earnings, something like that. Anything, again, same thing like usual, catalyst. But then again, if the stock doesn't go off that news, then it's probably not going to go. Rarely does the entire market miss huge news. Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Okay, maybe a question about TBLT for Hugh. Are you concerned that while the price crashed, the market cap is up a fair bit? The good news is that all the dilution looks like it's mostly sitting on the books in cash, so the EV, where cash is subtracted, is not that elevated. But penny stocks have a tendency to burn cash. I think the crash... Well, at the same time, I don't... Yeah, I think the different definitions of crash, I think it has really good daily movements where you can play it every day and scalp it easy. And I mean, maybe that's why it's not moving as much as we want.
Because it's just flipping.
It is a fun one for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I just accumulate.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine.
Hey, you'll get your day, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, that's really how I feel, is that like I'm fine with holding till news. And, holding till news, holding till earnings, whatever. But I don't really know if that was like a crash by TBLT, but whatever. I mean, I think all stocks burn cash. But TBLT has really good revenues. They're up year over year. They said that they were reducing their operating expenses, which is awesome. So I love that. So I'm not really too concerned about it.
Yeah, I don't think he's really worried about TBLT.
I'm just accumulating shares. I wouldn't mind if it crashed.
All right, so some of these you answered yesterday on Twitter, but I'm sure you kind of can go in a little more on here. Let's say you had to start all over again. You only had $500 in capital. What would your approach be to growing your account? So you answered always quality over quantity, but especially when growing from small account. And you say not losing money needs to be the biggest priority.
Yeah, 100%. The biggest thing, and this is huge. The biggest thing when you're a younger account is that you're so anxious to make so much, or not make so much, but to grow your account, because you know that for you to make $1,000, it takes a lot more. It takes a lot bigger percentage increase than someone with a $10,000 account. Obviously, so you're so excited that you're just, you get a good win and then you're thrown in somewhere else, blah, blah, and it has to be quality over quantity. This is definitely a slower game. And I hate to say this, but to make you got to have money to make big money.
Yeah, you got to make the dollars you have work.
Exactly. And like, do I really think realistically, like, in one trade you can turn 1,000 into $1 million? No. Even if you put $1 million into it, to make $1 million, that's got to go 100%. So understand though, that has to be quality over quantity, because if you lose that money, I mean, now it's going to take you so much more to get back, not only back to where you were, but where you want to be. So please just choose wisely.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do.
All right, I keep having problems with selling a stock too soon during a run-up or holding too long after a run-up. How do I identify the proper time to sell? I'm sure you're just going to say charting.
Yeah.
But is there anything else besides just charting, or just learn the sell symbols?
Yeah, I mean, charting is going to be huge. It's really going to know, like, okay, like, are you selling when it has news? Like, I don't really know if that's, I'm not getting too much in depth, but like, does it have news? Is this just based on a chart play? But I really think that charting would definitely be your best friend here.
All right, got a few more. What criteria do you go through when determining a swing for a bioplay?
I think, yeah, I remember this one. This really depends on this, on four big things. Cash. This is a real company, so this is a piece of shit penny stock that just does raises after raises after raises. So that's kind of like ties into the management. On top of that, the chart. Did we say cash? I don't. They need to have some kind of cash or some kind of revenues, but that kind of goes into like the piece of shit, management kind of thing. And then we need, the science has to be there. So like TRVN, we held through the PDUFA because I believed in the science. LPCN, I didn't hold through the PDUFA. Because I didn't believe in the science. I think that that's really good thing. Oh, and it has to be like a runner. It can't be a huge float. That's definitely the big things.
All right. If volume dies off but price stays level / doesn't drop much, is that usually a good sign?
Yeah, that's a great sign. That's exactly what you want to see. So, okay, let's take ADMP. What we want to see is that, okay, well, let's just say that it takes that 125 resistance. It heads for that 125 resistance. Boom. It tries to break it. I don't want it to break on the first time. Okay, I want it to hit that 125, and again, I want it to come down and consolidate around the 120 area on lower volume, as whoever this user was said, on lower volume to stay right there, because that creates new support. And then when volume does come in, boom, we're right there for that 125 for the taking. And when that volume comes in, oh man, we break that 125 with conviction, and now that 125 becomes huge support. So I really, that's something that you want to see for sure.
Okay, so last two. This guy just asked, what the fuck is with these battery runners?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see this week, but I think that sector will probably be pretty done. I think it would need like another catalyst, but I don't really. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, last one is, what content marketing strategy do you use, and how do you keep posting content on a consistent basis? Content creation is very grueling. Interested to hear your workflow. Damn, this is actually like me asking this question, just so it's like, wow, Dan, you're doing so great.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell would ask that?
Yeah, someone in the chat room. It was a guy I know from high school. So honestly, I guess it's just people are always asking, for more stuff. So as long as you guys keep asking questions, we'll be putting out episodes until we've just covered every single stock jargon, and then it'll just be done. But other than that,
I mean, I'll sleep in on a Sunday.
Fuck it. Yeah, you didn't sleep tonight.
Or sleep, period. Yeah.
Okay, so our last segment is, some guy just gave me this idea on Twitter, and I fell in love with it. It's give Hugh random tickers, and he has to guess if they're real or not. I also wanted to add a little stipulation. If he gets them all wrong, he has to do DD on one of them. So the first one, I'll give you a layup. AMNP.
Yeah.
Wrong. You just did, yeah, tricked you there. Okay, the next one, CORT, CORT.
Yeah.
Corcept Therapeutics, you're correct. Ding, ding, ding. The next one, Goose, GUUS.
Yeah.
Wrong. It is not a stock. Goose is not a stock.
That's stupid.
Pork, PORK.
Yeah.
Wrong. Pork is not a stock. I thought it would be too. Okay. Penny's going in wrong. PGR.
Yeah, of course.
Progressive. Yeah. Damn, I thought you would have guessed no on that one. Okay, and last one. Bitch. BICH.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
I was
dumb.
just immature in picking all of these, and I figured you would have thought they were real. If this segment sucks, you can just cut it out, Vinny. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to Level 2 episode. You don't have to tweet at Bob this week. Make sure you give us 5 stars, subscribe on YouTube, and enjoy your week. See you next time.
See you, baby.